Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jessie Dodd, and the purpose of this briefing is to make the public aware of the MOVEit ransomware scheme, a significant data breach discovered on May 31st, 2023, and perpetrated by a known foreign cyber threat actor. I will explain how the attack occurred, who was affected, projected costs, and share some of the history of the cybercriminal organization known as CLOP. I will also discuss damage control strategies for this breach and steps to prevent future cyber attacks of this nature. I will not be taking any questions at this time, but I will provide you with references if you'd like more information. On May 31st, 2023, Progress Software issued an advisory and patch for a vulnerability in its cloud-based data transfer platform known as MOVEit. The vulnerability was assigned a severity rating of 9.8 out of 10, critical, with the company stating it could lead to escalated privileges and potential unauthorized access to the environment, meaning that cyber criminals could utilize the exploit to steal data. Further, Progress had determined that data exfiltration had been happening since May 27th, spanning the Memorial Day weekend. A zero-day vulnerability is one that a software developer has no knowledge of and therefore no defenses against. This attack was implemented using a common hacking method called SQL injection, which in effect opens a backdoor to systems, in this case allowing members of the Russian cybercriminal group CLOP to exfiltrate large amounts of sensitive client data from multiple organizations in both public and private sectors. The scope of this attack is truly unprecedented. Even though MOVEit users represent a small market share of cloud-based data transfer platforms, literally thousands of organizations have been affected across the globe. Here you can see the current number of affected organizations at 2,773, the number of individuals whose data has been compromised at 95 million and counting, the estimated cost of more than $15 billion. US-based companies made up nearly 80% of affected organizations impacting sectors such as education, health, and finance. These include Maximus, a Medicare vendor, Delta Dental, Avast, the Oregon Department of Transportation, and TD Ameritrade, just to name a few. Responsibility for the breach was claimed by the Russian cyber threat organization known as CLOP. The name is a play on a Russian word which may be translated as cockroach, a reference to the survival instincts of the group. CLOP is a known advanced persistent threat actor which has been active in ransomware exfiltration and extortion schemes since 2019. They've been known to operate as an initial access broker, selling compromised networks to other groups and utilizing a botnet, which specializes in financial fraud and phishing, and they have a history of similar ransomware schemes to the MOVEit breach. The group is based out of Russia, with additional members in Ukraine, but there's no evidence they are affiliated with any nation-state government. Attribution was quickly verified for this attack by visits to the group's site on the dark web, where MOVEit users were invited to contact them to negotiate a ransom for the deletion of stolen client data. Eventually, though, CLOP sent out over 1,000 ransom emails to selected companies. Many organizations will not pay the ransom, but of those who do, CLOP is expected to extort between $75 to $100 million. Our immediate threat mitigation includes procedures provided by Progress, including disable all HTTP and HTTPS traffic to your MOVEit transfer environment, review, delete, and reset accounts, apply the software patch, verify that all compromised files have been removed, and perform continuous monitoring going forward. In addition, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, suggests guidelines for organizations First, keep an inventory of assets and data, identifying authorized and unauthorized devices and software. Grant admin privileges and access only when necessary, establishing a software allow list that only executes legitimate applications. Monitor network ports, protocols, and services, activating security configurations on network infrastructure such as firewalls and routers. It is also imperative to regularly patch and update software and applications to their latest versions and conduct regular vulnerability assessments. MOVEit lacked web root monitoring and quantitative analytics that would have recognized unusual downloads. Moving forward, it is essential for both public and private sectors to understand the changes in the cyber threat landscape. This will facilitate a proactive approach to prevention and detection of threats. Ransomware attacks are constantly evolving and have recently moved away from encryption schemes to mass exfiltration operations, as evidenced in this case. To protect against future attacks, organizations need to recognize vulnerabilities in their supply chain. Part of this awareness is vetting of vendors, especially legacy web-based platforms. Written contingency procedures are essential for all organizations, large and small. At a national level, Secure by Design initiatives ask software developers to take ownership of customer security outcomes, as well as embrace transparency and accountability, while attempting to foster competition in security among developers and manufacturers. Additionally, legislative efforts to curb the markets where zero-day exploits are bought and sold to malicious actors must be considered. We must also decrease the profitability of ransomware schemes by both developing defensive procedures and refusing to pay ransoms. Zero-day exploits are difficult, if not impossible, to defend against, but through cooperation and coordination of affected industries, the threat can be mitigated. For further information, please see these references. Thank you for joining me today for this briefing on the MOVEit Zero-Day Vulnerability and Breach.